You, Maverick fam, what is going on? New series. Your boy Dion, wifey.
What's up?
Help us understand. A series where it's okay to disagree. It's okay to be open-minded. It's okay to learn a little bit. We're gonna talk about some issues. Not always issues. We're just gonna have topics of discussion.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stay open-minded, and mainly we doing it so y'all can help us understand. Because there's a lot of things we don't, Jazmine.
Right? It's crazy.
And today we're gonna talk about R.Kelly. Man.
If you've been under some kind of rock, or if you just don't follow pop culture, Lifetime just did a 3-day docu-series which totaled in 6 hours. It was 2 episodes a night about R. Kelly's 30 years of violence against women and sexual abuse against teenage girls, and how he's been able to get away with it over the last 30 years.
What's fluffed up about this is it's deep. I only watched the last episode and I was shook. But America's divided. Like, at first I thought it was just 2 different ways. It seems like there's multiple. This is growing. Like, there's a lot of different opinions surrounding it, and we'd like to get your opinion so you can help us understand. So before we show you how everyone's divided, we got to catch you up on everything that is surviving R.Kelly and just R.Kelly as a whole. You got this, Jazmine.
There's a lot though. I don't know if we could go into everything.
Oh, it was 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Each was an hour?
Yeah.
Tell them, so I watched the last one. She caught the first 5 and she caught all of them. Summarize R.Kelly, surviving R.Kelly in 45 seconds, go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when he was up and coming, he used to hang out at high schools and at the malls and prey on young girls, mainly girls who wanted to have a career in music and things like that. And he used that to lure them in. Did that for 30 years. He had a couple women that were older, but all the other ones he kept. He has an alleged sex cult. They all live in the same place, and he does dirty, nasty things to them, and they have to ask permission to eat and use the phone, and they get disconnected from their families, and there's families that are still trying to find their daughters, and they don't know where they are, and they're freaking out. One actually got rescued in one of the episodes, so it's just crazy. He's disgusting, and he's never had to go to jail for any of it, so we got to figure out why.
So this is still going on today.
Yeah.
And there's proof for all of what he's done.
There's a magnitude of witnesses. Some of his family is included. People that worked for him that are actually admitting that they knew what was going on and didn't do anything about it are being interviewed in this series. So for me, if somebody's willing to implicate themselves, there's got to be some kind of truth to the situation.
So here's a couple of the things we want to get your opinion on. Number 1, can you separate the music from the musician?
Yeah. Do you feel the need to hashtag mute R.Kelly? Or is it like, dang, he's a scumbag, but the remix to Ignition is still lit?
Right. Ooh, and this is where I need y'all to help me understand. I don't know how I feel like.
But perspective, he dropped that album right after the sex tape came out of him peeing on a 14-year-old girl and having ratchet sex with her.
Come on, bruh.
And film. Does that change anything for you?
All right, look, hear me out. Here's the point of view.
Okay.
Help me understand. Ignition, remix to Ignition. One of my favorite songs. That come on. Oh, I'm gonna get it, right?
Uh-huh.
Why do I like the song? For the song.
Okay.
Not because of R.Kelly.
Right.
Right. Now here's the thing. There's people I do like as people.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm going as far as saying I don't like R.Kelly as a person. I don't like those actions.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I feel the spirit moving, Jazmine. Hold on, let me try and be quick. There's people I love, but if they made music, I wouldn't enjoy the music. So it wouldn't happen in the reverse. Like, because I love my younger brother, okay, but he could produce some music that I just wouldn't be feeling. Right. So in that instance, I'm separating the music from the musician. Right. Because it's just, I like it for the music. Because to say that I would agree, and I think we would all say, just because I like the song, I don't agree with everything you do. Right? Okay. So maybe it's not as bad as having sex slaves, but maybe it's voting for a different person. Okay. So where do we draw the line? Is like when I disagree with you this much because you're doing things that are immoral, like where do you draw the line and be like, all right, because that I don't like your music too?
Wow. It's profound.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But y'all gotta help us understand. So what do you think? Where are you? Like, like if you hear that R.Kelly jam.
I think that makes sense. I don't know if I would be bold enough to, like, if I was, you know, sweeping and mopping the floor and stepping in the name of love, that'd be my time I flex on Instagram.
Ooh,
like I don't really know. I don't really know how I feel. Like I get what you're saying, but I think I care enough about who it could offend.
Jeez.
That I would keep it to myself.
See, that's deep too. That makes a lot of sense. So you're like, I may not mute R.Kelly in my home because I know where I stand, and I can understand that I don't support any of the stuff he did. Right. I just like the jam. But what if someone who survived R.Kelly follows me on Instagram and that triggers something? Right. Whoa.
I wouldn't want, like, that's not my decision to make. I'm not gonna go buy a song on iTunes or anything like that, but as an R&B lover and, you know, Music Soul Child, India Ari, Raheem Devon, he'll come up if he hasn't got blocked on everything yet. Right. But it's like, if Step in the Name of Love comes on Pandora, I probably wouldn't skip it. There wouldn't be in a conscious thought. Right. To be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna turn this off. Right. You know? But it's nothing that I would promote.
So tell us about, like, the other divide. Because first there's the music. Right. The musician, but then there's like, is he even in the wrong?
Right. There's like the controversy of the story, which really has two parts, because he was victimized from 7 to 13. He was molested by someone in his family that he chose not to name. But the only reason I know that is because they addressed it first in the docuseries. The whole first hour is his history. It's his life story prior to molesting little girls. So, okay, I know that. An argument that some people are trying to make is that in some fashion, that because he's a victim too, that the universe is being too hard on him for having a sex cult, which I think is ridiculous. And then the other thing is the comparison of stories. Like, well, what about Elvis? And what about this other person? And what about this person? And keep that same energy. And when's lifestyle gonna do something on the despicable life of a white man? And things like that.
That's why this is so deep, man. Y'all gotta help us understand, because it's like, in one sense, you can get that. Like, is R.Kelly a victim of being abused and he's perpetuating what happened to him, I guess, essentially, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's like, think of the difference. And not that, you know, somebody's trauma is more traumatic than anybody else's trauma. Let me say that. But we have to be realistic and think about it. If he's getting molested in the 70s by a family member or whatever, and then he's in his 90s, 2000s lifestyle of riches and fame and all that kinds of stuff, the amount of power that he has over these girls and to the extent that he did it too and everything is more than, you know, somebody just paying hanky panky. Like, he made a career.
So you're saying okay, so you're saying,
like, you know, act like he wasn't kept in a dungeon, you know, without meals and all that kinds of stuff. It's like people are trying to be like, oh my gosh, he was victimized and so he went on to do it. He's a victim too. We have to talk about his trauma.
So you're saying they were like JV. He had to deal with JV, but he took it and went pro with it.
Yeah, and I mean, that sounds bad, but it's like, if you're gonna compare the situations, it's like, be real about what the situations were. It's like, they're trying to act like, oh, well, these little fast girls, and you can't be fast at 14 when you're dealing with somebody that's 30. But it's like, it's just, it doesn't work. You can't justify the actions. That's like some man, you know, beats his wife up, right? Blacks her eye, everything, kicks her in the throat. She's bloody. Her left leg broke. They're in court. And he's like, Your Honor, I got smacked around when I was a little kid. Oh, well, go free. Like, no, her leg is still broken. She still got beat up. She was still treated unjustly. And this is what we're talking about right now. R.Kelly wanted to share his story and he wanted to get help. He's done the interviews. He's had plenty of opportunity to do it. Right now, these victims are coming forward and this is what the situation is. If your best defense is, oh, he was victimized too. What are you saying?
Okay, that's deep. So really it's not. So I guess there has to be accountability somewhere.
Absolutely.
We can understand why you may have went through what you went through, and that's just as real.
Yes.
But we can't live in a society where you're not held responsible for the things you do.
Right.
I think I rock with that. And if you guys follow me, that's really how I am. Like, I get a lot of flack and a lot of heat from people because I'm always rooting for people, even the worst of people. And some of y'all may be let down to hear, but like, I'm rooting for R.Kelly to get over this and get better, to be healthy, to actually, maybe some way he can be an aid in stopping sex traffickers or like maybe some of these other things. But I also think he needs to be held responsible for what he did. Like, in the same action, to use Jazz's example, right? If I were to uppercut her right now, I should go to jail. Like, you should be held accountable for what you did. But I would hope that I had people around me that would support me and help me get better. So when I get out, I'm not uppercutting her again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't ever support the bad things that people do, but let's support people and help them get better. And sometimes part of that is holding them accountable.
I think that's the biggest part though, because people are mad that these women are making an attempt to make him be held accountable, but where there is no accountability, there can't be any change. So it's like, you can't expect to not have it come out and be a situation and all that kinds of stuff for it to be addressed so something can be done about it, so change can be made and he can get better. I don't think that's gonna happen though until something happens. He said himself, it's too late. Y'all should have came at me 30 years ago.
He said that?
Yes.
Ooh, that's bold.
Yes.
Hey, so give us your thoughts, man. Let us know in the comments section. Help us understand. Can you separate the music from the musician? Am I saying that the right way? How else do they say it?
No, that's it.
That's it. Can you
separate the music from the artist?
The artist, there you go. And how do you navigate that pool of forgiveness and understanding? Like, dang, you were mistreated, so that's why you're doing it. Because here's the thing. If we take out him being mistreated in his past like that, there's a good chance he doesn't do that. I think I can look at a lot of things that I do right in my life and trace it to a root of something that happened as I was growing up. And I can trace some of the things I do wrong and the thought patterns I have to a root, right? So it's like understanding that, but then also being like, fam, we just can't use that as a get out of jail free card. Like, that's right. Not okay. And really, we're just at like the halfway point. This thing is so much deeper. Like, there's the thing that Jazz touched on with like, well, yeah, what about, this is a black thing because y'all making a big deal because a black man did it, but what about when the white man was doing it? Oh, look, you're also doing Bill Cosby like it's a black thing. And here's the thing. Sometimes the black community don't like us. Because look, we feel you on that, and I do think in certain situations there's definitely an agenda.
Absolutely.
But we get into a danger zone when we're not, it's right or wrong. Like, we gotta have a right or wrong. It's kind of like, let's say I'm speeding. I'm going 60 miles in a 45 zone, but someone else is going 70. And the cop pulls me over, but not the guy that's 70. It's like, whoa, he was doing 70, but was I still doing 60? Like, was I still wrong?
Right.
Yes. Yes. So here's the thing. Should there also be people that are telling stories on it about the white man? I'm sure there are. We just may not know about it. I know that Harvey Weinstein guy with Hollywood.
That's who they posted. That's who John Legend was in the picture with.
Oh.
That's what I was talking to you about in the
See,
car.
like, he's a white guy, so it's not that the stories aren't being told, but if that's an uproar that you feel that there's an injustice, I think God puts that in your heart for you to do it.
Right?
Like, go tell the story, because here's the thing. There's probably some whack, crazy, dumb things that I support that if I had more knowledge, I might not.
Yeah.
And so you, like, if you're just like, yo, this isn't being fair, like, go fix it, because that's what the people with R.Kelly are doing. They felt convicted that R.Kelly was doing this. Maybe it's because it was close to them or for whatever reason, and they did it. So I think you should do the same.
Agreed. And then just like to try to have the justification that, oh, well, if you're gonna be mad at R.Kelly, you gotta be mad at their parents. Like, where were their parents at? It's like, okay, he's still wrong. Everybody gets so caught up in like, oh, what about this person? Well, what about this? And well, what about that? Instead of just focusing on the issue that's at hand right now. This is what's going on. Should those girls' parents have been having a more watchful eye on them and whatnot? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that just because they weren't following their child's every beck and move that they were expecting for what happened to them to happen, or it's something that they wanted, or they're somehow at fault for this grown man's actions. Accountability.
So that's it, man. Y'all gotta help us understand. Would you say we have opinions, but I don't know if we're the most open-minded people in the world, but we up there.
We really are. So that's something to be able to expect.
Yeah.
As you continue to watch these videos.
Right. I didn't know. I didn't felt some ways like we're always growing. Like,
yeah.
I'm impressed with the Jazmine I met this week than even last week. Like how much she's improved in this last week is crazy.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah, and we're always doing stuff like that. But the only way it's like you just gotta learn. And that's why I think this is gonna be so good for us. If you do know us, we're rarely like, I guess you're not gonna offend us by disagreeing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Again, we're human. I know it sometimes it's because we're on the other side of the screen. It seems like we aren't, but we feel disrespected when people are mean in comments, and we don't enjoy seeing it. It's kind of sad. We kind of come numb to being called all types of things in the book.
Right.
But we would love to like go through this and have like thought out, respectful comments. We might be like, yo, you're right, we wrong, thank you.
Because that's the whole point. We led this with help us understand.
Yep, help us understand, man. I get so many different angles, man. Like, I don't know if there's one side of this argument that doesn't have some sort of truth, and I'm like, dang, I feel you. I feel you on that. So we just trying to navigate through this universe just like y'all. So help us understand in the comment section. Let us know what other crazy stuff in the world is going on that you need help understanding. We'll ask for you. All right, we love y'all. Y'all are awesome. Till next time.
God first, God bless.